Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, and thank you for tuning back into St. Andrew TV, a cure for your Monday blues. I am your host, Andrew, and today we're going to talk about something that's a little more nuanced than what we usually cover on this channel. Pioneers, travelers, and frontiersmen needed numerous items when traveling on horseback. The normal things come to mind: provisions, bedding, shelter, tools, the essentials that you were required to have during elongated treks. But there was one thing that was actually brought to my attention.
And things like this are a real thing. It's a knife that's been converted to be a screwdriver. So what I'm going to do is check on my single action army whether or not that black powder screw requires tightening or not. And it did.
That was a clip from In Range TV's video where he actually shoots some classic Old West firearms, but briefly you saw him pull out a tool that would double as a knife and as a standard head screwdriver. That is something that I've personally never heard of before. Traveling this far meant you needed to take the bare minimum, and a tool that had the purpose of two sitting in your back pocket was more than ideal. This is what something of that nature would look like, and means I have a range day coming up. I have filmed the conversion of how to make your knife double as a standard head screwdriver. So let's tilt this camera down and I'm going to show you how to build it.
No one on the corner has a wagon like us. Hit me on my burner prepaid wireless. We pack and deliver like UPS trucks. Already gonna hell, just pumping that gas. All I wanna do is and ching and take your money. All I wanna do is and ching and take your money.
Alright, so now that we have the camera down to a more preferred position to see me work and convert this knife into a knife screwdriver hybrid, this is something that I picked up at a pawn shop. It's a nice little side piece that you can carry around on your belt. And now we are going to make it dual purposed. We are going to take this end off and make it a standard head screwdriver. So everything that I need is right here in front of me. I have a standard head screwdriver here to take time to give me an idea of how big I need to make the end of this knife here. And obviously I have my 6-gun here, which is going to be the primary reciprocant of this new hybrid tool that we're making here. And at the end I actually do need to tighten some of the back screws here to lock up that hammer a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a decent amount of metal that I'm going to actually cut off here with these pliers here. I don't want to take off too much. Make sure that you're going to be a little more lenient on how much you take off. You're going to want to take off a little bit at a time if you're not sure about the measurement the end of your knife blade needs to be to make it into a standard head screwdriver. Taking a little too much off might cause you to have to do some finagling and start chopping off some extra edges. So let's try to do this all in one fell swoop. And as you're learning at home, this is also my first time of doing this. So I'm going to find the smallest screw here on my 6-gun to actually give me an idea of how tall I want the end of the knife to be, or how long, perhaps. And kind of got an idea. I have an idea of where I kind of want to cut it. And this is a fixed point knife, obviously. You don't want to cut it with the end of the fixed point. You want to kind of cut it parallel with the end of your handle. I think this looks pretty good, and I'm going to probably chop it somewhere in between that black line you see there and go from there. Alright, we had to bring in some backup pliers because the original ones were not strong enough, but there is the tip that has been cut off, and I have a little bit of steel wool here because it is still kind of jagged, and just kind of run it across there. And if you really want to speed up the process, get some 40 grit sandpaper and just really run it across like so. So as we're using the steel wool on the end here, we're trying to get it more and more reminiscent of a standard head screwdriver. And I even brought a nail file, which I didn't initially show you guys. It was hiding over here behind my 6 gun. And I'm just gonna thin it out at the top a little bit because I want it to be a little more like this right here, which would be nicer for what you're gonna be using it for. And I made it small and versatile so it can fit numerous sizes of screw that I might come in contact with. Like I said, it's gonna be the jack of all trades, the master of none, but still better than a master of one. And this will need to be sharpened after you work with it in this capacity. And now we're gonna go back to the steel wool just to make sure that everything is nice and smooth so you don't have any rigid edges that you might catch yourself on or damage a screw that you might come across and tighten. And there you have it. There is your close-up. Like I said in the earlier part of the video, we're gonna test this on our 6 gun. As you all may know, it is important to tighten up the screws after you're done shooting. All right, so I just got done shooting and I should probably tighten some stuff up before I get back to the base. So I did bring my knife screwdriver conversion and I'm gonna go through some of the screws here to see if everything is ship shape. That looks good. Oh, there's one that needed to be tightened a little bit. Looks good. But the ejector rod tends to always give me problems. This one always tends to loosen up while I shoot. So let's take a peek at that one. Oh, that one's real loose. You can even see the knife turning over and giving me fits. That ejector rod was really loose, but now I got the multi-tool out, everything looks ship shape, and I will make sure everything is looking good when I take it back. But that is the knife screwdriver conversion in the field. Give it some field use, so there you go. And there you have it. That is how you convert your knife into a standard head screwdriver, which our old West friends back in the day, our brethren, would do the same thing. And now you have a little piece of history and a tool that serves 2 purposes when you are in a pinch. Thank you everyone for getting this far into the video. I had a lot of fun today and I hope I brought light to something that I personally didn't even know about. So I hope I shared the knowledge with you as well today. InRange TV's channel will be linked down in the description. Not that it needs my help. He's north of 400,000 subscribers, but he does do some cool stuff with some Old West firearms and even colonial time firearms as well. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed today's video, or leave me a comment stating what you liked about today's video, or tell me what I should do next. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed as of late. We have jumped about 2,000 subscribers since the recording of my last video, which happened not too long ago. So thank you for all the consistent support. It really does mean a lot to me. But for those of you who have come across this video and you have yet to hit that subscribe button, think about doing so, because you're Daisy if you do.